You're not addicted to sniffing bags in your shed at midnight. You're addicted to avoiding hard feelings. That one might be a little bit out there because some of you watching this might not be cocaine addicts. You might be addicted to scrolling your phone. You might be addicted to porn. You might be addicted to anything, but you're not really addicted to those things. You're addicted to avoiding the hard feelings. And this is something that in my coaching program, I've unfortunately but fortunately learned over the last couple of years because somehow my marketing draws me men who are struggling with addiction. And the thing that I've learned time and time and time again is that it's not about the thing. Nobody really loves cocaine. Nobody really loves weed. They love not feeling the feelings that they're avoiding. And I'm going to give some examples, obviously without giving people's names. But I had one dude who was doing really well with his weight loss in the beginning, but through getting to know him a bit better, discovered that he had a really serious weed problem. And I know some of you watching this are going to be like, weed's no big deal. It's just a little bit of this. You can relax. It's legal in some countries. You're fucking wrong. Weed, for the majority of people, is a destructive drug. I'm not saying that nobody can have it. Some people can probably have the occasional joint once, twice a year, or even further out, have a bit of crack and get on with their life. This guy smoked every day for 17 years, would even smoke before he got into a car, was already serving a road ban for 5 years, had finally gotten his license back. And where I found this was a really serious problem was that even after getting that road ban, one night on his way home from work, he got stopped by the guards, in his opinion, for no good reason. There was no reason for them to stop me. His eyes were completely puffed up and red. I know it. I wasn't there, but I know it. He swore blind that he didn't have any weed in him. Eventually, 6 months later, after having had a drug test by the police and all sorts, there was a trace amount. He admitted that he'd smoked a joint before he got in the car. That is a destructive habit. We got him to stop because his partner essentially told him, if you don't get off the weed, I'm gone, you're out of the gaff. I'm not explaining to my parents that you've been banned off the road for smoking weed again. That was one of the best things to ever happen to him. However, he picked up drinking more often and picked up sniffing more often. But would tell me, oh, but like now I'm 2.5 years off of weed. And I'm like, that's great. But you've swapped it out for other issues because he's not addicted to weed. He's not addicted to drinking. He's not addicted to sniffing. He's addicted to avoiding discomfort and feelings that he doesn't want to address. If you're watching this and you know there's something that you're doing to avoid feelings, you need to acknowledge it. You need to learn to sit in those feelings, which sucks. That is harder than going to the gym. It's harder than following a diet. It's a lot fucking harder than just giving up a drug or a drink or porn or anything like that. So my advice to you, if you're struggling with understanding that you're addicted to something, because that's the first part. I've been to a few AA meetings. I've been sober for, I'm not going to try and whip the phone and check the number, but it's over 1,200 days. I decided to be sober. I didn't really have a problem with drinking. It made me feel pretty sad and shit for weeks after drinking. But I decided to stop so I could lead the men in my program with more integrity because I knew that more men were going to be gravitated towards me who need to be away from substances. I struggle with other addictions. I struggle with overworking. I struggle with going training too much to avoid feeling what I should be feeling. But without losing the point, if you're sitting there struggling with some form of addiction and accepting some form of addiction, in AA, the first thing they ask you to do is to acknowledge that you've got a problem. And that might be really tough if you don't think what you have is a problem. If you think drinking 3 or 4 times a week isn't a problem, I'm going to tell you now it is. Because you shouldn't need to drink 3 or 4 times a week. You shouldn't need to drink ever. You should, if you're a drinker, have one because you would like to enjoy one, not drink one because, oh, that was a hard day, I have to have this. That's avoidance of your feelings. So, what I'm encouraging you to do is not to become a teetotaler. I'm encouraging you to accept the phone scrolling, the porn watching, the overtraining, the overworking, the over anything. Acknowledge if you're doing it because you enjoy the thing, or if you're doing it because you don't want to feel some other thing, some other deep, dark thing that keeps cropping up and making you feel bad. Because while it makes you feel bad now, if you address it and do some therapy, or even just sit and do some journaling, do your own thoughts and address it now, you're going to feel a whole hell of a lot better in the future when you don't have to rely on a distraction to just sit and be by yourself. Because that's about the toughest thing in the world for most people, is to just be able to sit and be. Like, how many times have you seen that as jokes on the internet about raw dogging a flight? Does that sound like the most uncomfortable thing in the world for you to sit on a plane with no input, no earphones, no laptop, no phone stuff, no book, no nothing, just staring into the ceiling? If that makes you feel twitchy and horrible, it's time to start working on sitting with yourself and not needing a distraction, whatever that might be. Drink, drugs, porn, whatever it is. If this is the first time you're ever seeing me, my name is Matt. I'm the Better Man Coach, and I'm working to help a million men to be better than they were yesterday, to be the best version of themselves in whatever way I can facilitate that. If it's through training knowledge, if it's through giving you some tools to be emotionally sound, whatever it might be, I'm here for it. So subscribe if you're here for it too. Comment your thoughts on all of this. If you've got some addiction struggles, this community can become a community in the comments. We also have other community spaces I'll talk about soon. But comment, like, do all of that stuff. And if there's videos that you want me to make, topics you want me to discuss, let me know and I'll put them out there.